while watching this week's episode of Sword Art Online 2. Just throwing that out there. Just wanted to let you guys know that didn't happen. Not this guy. No, sir. So this week's episode of Sword Art Online 2 was incredibly schmaltzy, but in that good, wholesome kind of way. It's the type of episode that's going to make you feel really good, even though it's basically just being spoon-fed right to you. However, I really love the development between Asuna and her mother, which is ultimately, I think, the most important thing about this week's episode. However, the first half of the episode was very touching, the whole scene with Asuna getting a little bit of help from Kirito, who's still developing those cameras, and they rig one up on Asuna's shoulder, which actually allows Yuki to sort of view the world, like through her weird little virtual space. And what's really cool about this is she finally gets to experience going to school, hanging out with students, and it's very heartwarming and touching, and she even gets to read in class. It'll probably make your eyes well up just a little bit. But it all ultimately leads to a scene where both her and Yuki go to her former house, and she sort of tells her entire backstory to Asuna, and she also gives her the courage to finally confront her mom. And it leads to this scene, which I think is really interesting, because I thought it was just going to be a normal confrontation, just like, alright, that's it, Mom, let's go, right now! But no, it's actually much simpler than that. In fact, she's going to go with her in the virtual world, which I think is a really nice twist, because this will actually give her mother an opportunity to see why Asuna loves being in ALO all the time, as well as an opportunity to sort of like punch her mother in the feels when they look at this backyard scene of these snowy woods, which reminds Asuna's mother of her parents. And this leads to this really great scene where Asuna just lays it on the line with her mother and basically lets her know that she does what she does because she wants to support everyone around her, and basically she's looking at the bigger picture, the family angle, so to speak. And this, combined with the scenery, just causes Asuna's mother to finally break down and start having tears. And in this world, you cannot stop the tears from flowing, and it leads to a really touching scene where they finally come together, and she lets Asuna decide that she can do what she wants. If she wants to stay in the school, she can, but she still has to go to a university, and she's going to have her grades up. So what I love about this situation is it's realistic. They're not just like immediately all buddy-buddy, I love you, Asuna, you know, there's progression for them, though, and that's what I think is really great about this episode, which is just going to make you feel good, especially when it ends with Asuna running out into the sunshine, getting ready to go see Yuki. And, you know, there's one more episode left, and I just know it's going to be so depressing, because this one was like the make-you-feel-good episode. The next one, I already know where it's going. It's probably going to result in the death of Yuki Kono and probably the Sleeping Knights. And I'm prepared for it. I'm sure they're going to handle it in a really classy way. And I'm really, like, surprised at the way they're actually handling the final arc of this series. And frankly, it's a welcome addition, because a lot of the times in these big action series, the finales always have to be these big, overblown action scenes, and, you know, Sword Art Online has already proved that it can do action, and it can already do it really well. It did it in the first season, it did it again in Gun Gale, and in the arcs right before this, and there was a lot of action right here in Mother's Rosario, and I think it's really classy what they're doing here. It's allowing us to really appreciate these characters all the more. And, you know, hopefully, again, if this season was successful, we're going to get a third season of Sword Art Online, because I know that there's more material that they could adapt, and I don't want to read any of that. I love experiencing it in the anime form, even though, of course, I'm sure the visual novels are a lot more abundant in character development and all that other jazz. But still, what's the rundown? On this week's episode of Sword Art Online 2, it was really good, handled very well. You know, it's one of those episodes it's more for the story. You know, the animation wasn't anything crazy this week, but it all looked really clean and consistent, and I especially liked the nighttime scenes when both Asuna and Yuki went to her former house. I just loved all the lighting in the sky. Everything just looked really nice. And when they went to the actual virtual world, like her mother's avatar, I just thought that was funny how she reacted to it, how she felt she was so light. And what was really great about the scene is it's already sort of breaking the ice, and I thought that was really clever because, you know, in some senses, you know, I do agree with her mother in that she should have confronted her in real life about it, but it really brought home the point, like when they went to the virtual world, it really gave her a taste of what her whole life is like. And at that moment, she's already able to talk to her mother a lot better just because she's in that world. And then they have that moment where they go to the woods and everything, and that was handled really well. The symbolism with the rabbits and everything, just it's good stuff. It's just a make you feel good episode. It's a little overly schmaltzy, but still, I like it. You know, I think, you know, I've said it before in some of the previous episodes, this arc right here is perfect for the holiday season. This is the type of episode you could watch with the whole family right next to a roaring fire. It was that good. So, I liked it. It really wasn't the episode that I was hoping for, and I need to stop hoping for action because it's not going to happen, and that actually allowed me to appreciate this episode all the bit more, and it actually, got to me a little bit. It was a really good episode. So, it was a little slow in the first half, and I really liked the second half a lot more. But still, I'm going to give this week's episode a 4 out of 5. Damn near perfect episode, and one that you should definitely check out if you've been following this arc. And make sure to stay tuned, because next week is the final episode of the second season of Sword Art Online. Thank you guys for watching my review. If you like this video, make sure and give it a thumbs up. And before you leave, please tell me what you thought about this week's episode. Did it make you tear up? Are you looking forward to the final episode? And do you want to see a third season of Sword Art Online? Also, before you guys go, make sure and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. You can do that by clicking on the channel icon right up here. And you can also follow us on Facebook and on Twitter.